For years they've been telling us.
The President of the United States is racist.
These comments are disgraceful and disgusting and are racist.
Donald Trump is a racist.
Yes, absolutely.
I can say that now.
He has been racist.
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history.
What if he never was a racist?
Is Trump a racist?
I've talked to a number of black entrepreneurs who were trying to get financing. They couldn't. Somebody told them to go check with Donald Trump.
What a beautiful person you are.
He gave them a term loan. They independently relate this tale that when they saw him, he said, "This what you supposed to pay me? This our agreement?" And yeah. And then tore the check up, shook their hands, and congratulations. Now run your business.
What if Donald Trump wasn't the man they told you he was?
There's a lot to be said for Donald Trump. Yeah, there's a lot, you know. He's a good guy. He is really a good guy. He's not a racist. He's not.
Growing up in the Deep South, I've seen racism up close. I know what it is, and it isn't Donald Trump.
Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK.
So here now is just a sampling of the long history of misogyny we have seen over the years from Donald Trump.
Who is a sexist? And now a sweeping report about the way he treats women.
He's been sexist.
What if he was never a sexist?
I've known my father obviously my whole life, and he has total respect for women.
A woman in the audience asked Trump if he'd hire veterans at that hotel. Here's how he responded.
Do you mind if I do a job interview right now? We need good people. How are you? Yes.
Mr. Trump, what we just witnessed here was pretty remarkable. I mean, this is a complete stranger who just came up and you offered her a job. What inside your gut gave you the feeling that
I
you
felt
could give
good
her a
about
job?
her. I tell you what, I looked at her. I said, I have gut instinct, okay? Look at that with the tears. How nice. She just seemed like a good person to me.
He's a race baiting.
He's a pig.
Xenophobic.
A mutt.
Religious bigot.
He appeared to mock a reporter with a disability.
What if he wasn't a bigot at all? What if he was actually warm and compassionate?
Here's President Donald Trump for you.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, hold on 1 minute.
All right, sounds good.
Can I have a
Holy Christ, what do I get to...
Hi, Jay.
Hey.
Handsome to me. I just saw a picture of you.
No, you're giving me kind honors.
Hey, Jeff. A lot of good things are happening, too. Don't kid yourself. A lot of good things are happening in terms of the medical stuff. You keep that fight going. We both fight, okay? You keep that going, okay?
I will do my end.
In a world where illusions can deceive, discernment becomes our lantern, guiding us to uncover the untold truth that may lie obscured by the hands of perception.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I had a Biden moment that second right there. What is up, everybody in the chat? Come on in, come on in. If you're catching this on the live, shout out to you. If you're catching this on the replay, type in replay in the comment section. We got a little late one tonight, guys. I know it's 10:30 in some of the parts of the United States, so thank you guys so much for rocking with me. Let me get a quick roll call real quick. What is up, Stephanie? My Mind in the house, Terry in the house, Rob in the house. Hope everybody's doing well. Who else we got up in here? We got Grant, we got David, we got Catherine, Michael, what is up? What is up, LJ in the house? Shout out to Ruth. What is up? My Mind says I'm getting ready for bed. Bright Star in the house. What is up? I want to give a huge shout out to the moderators before we get this live popping. So shout out to the moderators in the chat. Kudos to you guys. And then shout out to everybody catching this on the live. We got a lot of stuff to cover today. We got quite a bit of stuff to cover. So let's jump on in. We're going to unpack some government incompetence, some media meltdowns, economic gaslighting as always, and Chuck Schumer finally saying what he's been thinking the entire time, and he says it out loud. We got to start off with Chuck Schumer losing his mind on live TV. The dude basically came out and straight up called Republicans bastards, like he was cutting a WWE promo. Keep it classy, Chuck. Keep it classy. Here's the kicker. When a Democrat's in the White House, he warns about shutdowns hurting people. When Trump's president, he's screaming, shut it down. The Democrats are saying, shut it down. Chuck Schumer's like the guy at the dive bar trying to clear it all out, trying to clear out the fights. Speaking of Trump, he's already crafting a plan to cut spending without needing Congress, because if we learned anything, Congress can't balance a checkbook if their lives depended on it. Meanwhile, Biden can't even sign a checkbook. The Autopen scandal is still unfolding. The man's signature is literally being outsourced to people in India. That's democracy for you folks. And the absolute best part of this entire clown show, Democrats are finally admitting what they've been saying for years. Turns out Biden wasn't really all there the entire time. I mean, congrats. It's like saying that the water is wet. Then we've got the economy doing its best impression of a hostage situation. Inflation is apparently easing while tariffs rise. And if that doesn't make sense to you, don't worry, you're not alone. Because even CNN Dana Bash, that's right, Dana Bash, was left speechless when Gavin Newsom, for the new viewers, didn't challenge Steve Bannon on election integrity. I mean, when Gavin Newsom starts making sense, you know we're in the twilight zone. Or is he doing a bait and switch? Over in the immigration crisis, ICE has officially lost its patience. After arrests surpass all of 2024 numbers, Biden's crew is literally cooking the books the entire time and pretending things aren't completely out of control. Oh, and get this, a new bill is proposed that law enforcement in blue states actually communicate with ICE. It's a crazy idea. I know. Maybe, just maybe, letting violent criminals run free in America and sanctuary cities, it's not just a flex, and I don't think it's a good flex. And to top it all off, we have that protester and the supporters of that particular protester in Trump Towers in New York City. What could go wrong? Now they're being arrested, and people are finally asking real questions. If they're foreigners, deport them. If they're citizens, lock them up. And if they think that all of this, ruining Teslas, riots, and all this other stuff is acceptable behavior, maybe we should introduce them to history books. But hey, at least Elon Musk has a plan to fix inflation, interest rates, and the economy permanently, which means naturally the government will do the exact opposite. So hang in there, guys. We got a good show. We got Schumer raging tantrums, Trump playing 4D chess, ICE going nuclear, Biden pretending to be awake, and leftist media finally admitting that they were wrong the entire time. Chuck Schumer. Oh, man. Chucky Chuck. Here we go. Let's share screen real quick. Let me get my comments up. Boom. Catherine says he knows he's being investigated. He should be in prison and for criminal negligence. Ozzy Greg says the name New Scum. Yeah, it's a It's a funny one. Gavin Newsom. Chuck Schumer comes out in support of the CR bill. Chuck Schumer just caved, now saying that he'll vote to keep government open. Remember, last year, he was like, no. Well, Speaker of the House floor on Thursday, Senate minority leader said that while continuing resolution of the CR is negative, the consequences of American people following the shutdown, which is much worse. Here's what Schumer had to say.
Republican rejection leads us to a decision. And it's not really a decision, it's a Hobson's choice. Either proceed with the bill before us or risk Donald Trump throwing America into the chaos of a shutdown. This, in my view, is no choice at all. While the CR bill is very bad, the potential for a shutdown has consequences for America that are much, much worse. For sure, the Republican bill is a terrible option. It is not a clean CR. It is deeply partisan. It doesn't address far too many of this country's needs. But I believe allowing Donald Trump to take even much more power via a government shutdown is a far worse option. And before I explain why, let me be clear about one thing. No one on my side of the aisle wants a government shutdown. Members who support this CR do not want a government shutdown. Members who oppose this CR do not want a government shutdown.
Michael Upton writes, Chucky is afraid. Chuck is afraid. LJ says 2.8 inflation. Bright Star says, we all knew Biden wasn't there all along. He wasn't running things. Biden didn't even know where he was at half the time. He didn't even know what type of ice cream to order. The default is vanilla, all right? Ozzy Greg says that name, Newsom. Let me jump down in some of these comments. Gruesome. Catherine writes, gruesome is such a fraud. Now he wants to pretend nothing happened after burning down his state. No one better fall for his BS. Excuse me. Terry says, no accountability for 4 years. Chucky fell into Donald Trump's trap. Yep. Here is Chuck Schumer calling Republicans bastards on live TV. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I was catching up on the news. I said, wow, what is wrong with this guy?
To have the conflict on the best ground we have summed up in a sentence that they're making the middle class pay for tax cuts for billionaires, it's much, much better not to be in the middle of a shutdown, which to divert people from the number one issue we have against these these people, which is not only all these cuts, but they're ruining democracy. To have the conflict.
What is wrong with these folks? Guys, tell me in the chat, because I am lost. I'm lost. What is going on in their mind? And why would he be on live TV calling people bastards? He's a bastard. That's what Catherine said. Billy the kid says, you lose it again, Chuckles. Trump all the way, baby. Oh, man. Michael Upton says, hey, Chucky, what's the whirlwind? Oh, man. Chucky is losing his mind.
And they say Republicans drafted the bill without any of their input, despite not having the votes to pass it on their own. That is a far cry from about a year and a half ago when Democrats called shutdowns a non-starter. Watch.
The last thing the American people want to see is another unnecessary and painful government shutdown. Democrats certainly don't want to have a shutdown. And many of our Republican colleagues have likewise claimed they don't want to see one either.
As of now, Senate...
Crazy. What's up, Kayla? What is up, Rebecca? Rebecca in the house. What is up, Kayla? Catherine said they wanted to destroy America and make us one-party rule dictatorship. Communist. That's what Catherine writes. Shout out to Stephanie for the $2 super chat on the jump. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. I got to change that banner. What is up with that banner? I'll change it here in a minute. But thank you so much for the super chat, Stephanie. What is up, Airdrie? Chucky is such a loser, one foe says. Oh, man. After about a 40-minute presser in the Oval Office, Donald Trump goes off on Chuck Schumer. Listen to this.
He's a Palestinian. Okay. And Schumer is a Palestinian as far as I'm concerned. You know, he's become a Palestinian. He used to be Jewish. He's not Jewish anymore. He's a Palestinian. Okay.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, before we continue this, I want to say my mom, thanks all of you guys for the happy birthday wishes. I actually screenshotted the happy birthday wishes in the comment section and on the live chat and send it to her, and she absolutely loved it. She absolutely loved it. So thank you guys for that one. Trump crafts a plan to cut spending without Congress. Trump plans to cut spending without Congress after the shutdown was averted. The White House has already started mapping out how to make good on its promises to slash federal spending and prepare for its 6-month government funding bill passed through Congress. So kudos. Oh, of course we get the ad. We'll jump in here in a minute.
Inherent power of the purse, which is exactly what the Impoundment Control Act was passed to maintain. And it has very clear provisions that money designated by Congress for specific purposes must be spent by the executive branch unless they come back to Congress to change that funding. They have not come back to Congress, and they are pausing and in some cases cutting programs. But also, you cannot stop payment or funding based on a policy disagreement. And thus far, that is the only explanation that President Trump, Russ Vought, Elon Musk have given. So they are in clear violation of the Impoundment Control Act, which has been confirmed and ratified by the Supreme Court. It is illegal for the president to act unilaterally and either rescind or change congressionally designated funds.
Susan says Trump is so funny. Yeah, he is. He just says things off the cuff. It's absolutely great. David says, thank your mom for raising you. Kudos. Yeah, kudos to mom. I think she did a good job. I support Trump 100%, and I believe he will get the job done. I just hope the next election we won't get another bumbling idiot that destroys us again. You know, I don't think that the Democrats have a standing chance if they continue to act the way that they've been acting, because it's been absolutely ridiculous. If you noticed, Michelle Obama has a podcast. I found that out today. 2 brothers. It's her, him, it's Big Mike, and her brother, and his brother. They got a podcast. Gavin Newsom has a podcast. That's where all the NGO money's getting funneled to create podcasts. Catherine says they're illegally funding terrorism, and the executive branch absolutely has the power to shut it down. Shout out to Catherine for that. James X says it depends on how you write it in the spending bill. Stephanie says, why did his face look like that? I don't know. I have no idea. Oh, man. So there's been this scandal in the news regarding auto signatures. Biden apparently used these auto signatures. President Donald Trump responded to the growing Biden Autopen scandal as he participated in the Oval Office meeting. Oval Office meeting comes as the U.S. helping broker a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. Trump responded to a reporter that Vladimir Putin accepted the ceasefire agreement with Ukraine with special conditions. Trump brought up the growing Biden Autopen scandal. As previously reported in the Oversight Project, has gathered every document they could find with Biden's signature. All used the same Autopen. This is crazy. So this is a continuous scandal. He wasn't even there. He was on vacation, signed a document. It's crazy. Look at this. Autopen signature. They're all the same. A lot of you guys in the comment section were saying it's Hunter. Hunter was signing the thing. Probably was. Probably was Hunter. Jill.
Take a look at he signs by Autopen. Who was signing all this stuff by Autopen? Who would think you sign important documents by Autopen? You know, these are major documents you're signing. You're proud to sign them. You have your signature on something. In 300 years, they say, oh, look. Can you imagine? Everything was signed by Autopen. Almost everything. Nobody's ever heard of such a thing. So, should have never happened.
Stacy writes, so does this mean that everything that was signed on the Autopen is voided? I hope so. You know, you do have a particular login to sign in for the Autopen, but anybody can have an Autopen signature. DocuSign is one of them. Panda Docs is another one. You just need the login to sign in automatically. So who's to say that these things weren't getting sent to themselves and then they were signing these documents? I think they should be voided. I'd like to see what happens with these pardons. The Autopen is for things like letters. Yep. I agree with that. That's what AirG writes. We use Autopens, like we use auto signatures to sign initial contracts, but then we have to go in and sign wet signatures later on. LJ says Biden was golfing in the Virgin Islands when one of his EOs was signed in DC. And that's the ticker right there. It's stating that it's signed in DC, but he was in the Virgin Islands golfing. I bet Biden hardly signed the documents. This is what Riskin' My Biscuit 420 says. Yeah. Stacy says, what about Obama's birth certificates? Those were forged. You know, all these things are coming out. I would like to see somebody be held accountable for this crap. Ricardo, what is up, Ricardo? Biden didn't even know his name, let alone sign it. AirG says, not valid. Yeah, Jill's shift. Yeah, absolutely. Catherine says they probably took turns signing away. They probably did. Ooh, it was another Anthony Blinken and other senior White House advisors. Rob says, I think every pardon he gave should be null and void since it was Autopen. I agree with you, Rob. And then somebody needs to be prosecuted for this. New scandal. How many does that make now? That's what David writes. A lot. Where's the Epstein files, by the way? And the JFK that we were promised 30 days ago. What is up, Thomas? Thomas in the house. Hope you're doing amazing. Yeah. Michelle Obama's looking rough. She's looking rough like Rosie. Terry says, yeah, we're still waiting. We're absolutely still waiting for some type of prosecution to occur. I got this right here. Hold on.
Have you made a final decision in terms of the power to shut down the border?
We're examining whether or not I have that power.
It's not all I can do. He could have done it very easily.
He wants this problem. He deliberately broke the system.
He knew he had the power.
Democrats held the White House, the Senate, and the House the first 2 years of President Biden's presidency. They did absolutely nothing on the border.
Now, 5 months before an election, he has to appear to be willing to do something about it.
He is unserious about fixing the problem.
Come here today, take the necessary steps to secure our border.
What they're trying to do here is just trick us into something else.
Asylum will still be available to them.
All it is smoke and mirrors.
This ban will remain in place until the number of people trying to enter illegally is reduced to a level that our system can effectively manage.
It will actually make the invasion worse.
It's been a week, and thousands of illegals are still pouring through.
As long as people get released into the United States, the flow will continue.
President Biden's executive order is pretty much having zero impact whatsoever.
Go back to exactly what President Trump was doing.
On day one, I will seal the border, stop the invasion, and send Joe Biden's illegal aliens back home.
It was never more safe and secure than under President Trump.
We're not going to let it continue. We're going to get them out. We're going to bring our country back to safety. We're going to make America great again, greater than ever before. Thank you very much.
All the things that he signed should be gone, right? Let me jump into the chat real quick. What the says, Soros, Open Society helped border crisis and acknowledged the border pen refugee on plans for higher numbers. Yep. So they can get into these sanctuary cities and vote. Pamela says, Schumer should be censored and removed immediately. Yeah, Angela writes, Cash should have security. So if you guys haven't heard, Cash said he doesn't want any FBI security around him. He wants to hire his own security, which is fantastic. Stephanie writes, Rosie coming out the shadows to try to be relevant and tell America how great it is and try to switch citizenship. Bye, girl. See ya. Bye, Felicia. Dana Bash was absolutely stunned by Gavin Newsom not pushing back on Steve Bannon's claims of election integrity. So Gavin Newsom has a new podcast. You don't need to watch it. For what? Gavin Newsom did not push back on Steve Bannon's 2020 election denial in their recent sit-down interview. Oh, yeah, of course we're going to get that ad, baby. You know, I prompted all the ads before I hopped on this live.
And his new podcast. And the most recent MAGA guest that he had on his podcast is Steve Bannon. Let's roll some of that conversation.
I think that's a lesson
that we learned after President Trump, and look, you know, we disagree on this, but President Trump won the 2020 election, and we were kind of shattered as a movement when he left Washington, D.C., and we had to go back to basics to say, you know, it can't be somebody else do something. You know, we had to do something, and that's where we went back to really a pure populist movement to go at the grassroots, the precinct strategy, and kind of rebuild ourselves from there.
Well, and I appreciate the notion of agency, that we're not bystanders in the world. It's decisions, not conditions, that determine our fate and future.
I listened to the whole thing. It was very substantive, a really interesting
Fate and future.
When Steve Bannon says the election was stolen and the Democratic governor of California, the fifth largest economy in the world, does not correct him on that, that surprised me.
And add it to the list, right? I mean, there's that moment. And then there were his comments about transgender athletes as well. Different.
With Charlie Kirk.
Right. And then in addition, I mean, even in addition to all of that, just reverse a little bit, rewind, I should say. And he was also one of the Democrats who was going to the border and a little critical of what the Biden administration was doing. So this has been some time coming, but it's at a point now with characters now that we weren't expecting.
Right. And to be fair, Democrats have been trying to get into the
he's a major flip-flopper
to reach those voters. That is clearly what he's trying to do. He's got a very, very specific idea here. Charlie Kirk, who was on his show, said, one thing I learned in my podcast experience, the California governor isn't a joke. He has a shark's instincts, and he is hoping that voters will have a goldfish memory. Real quick.
It's very clear Democrats are not the audience here, and that Newsom's playbook is that no publicity is bad publicity. But this is also a space he's been in before. You'll remember a couple years ago, he went toe-to-toe with Governor DeSantis, offering to debate him.
He's a flip-flopper. He's moving towards the middle because his potential president run. That's my opinion. That's just my personal opinion. And his shimmy and his to the middle. Gavin, Airdrie says, Gavin is like a T-Rex that suddenly grew arms. Catherine says he's plotting on running for president. That's what he's doing. Yep. Newsom lies and he uses funny moves, and he continuously uses God's name in vain many times. They're freaking out because Gavin Newsom said, something about it's not fair with men in women's sports. 100% agree, but that wasn't his position before because he passed a very heavy bill, not in that headspace. And then now Steve Bannon just said, with the election integrity, and he just washes it away. Now CNN, leftist legacy media, is freaking out because they don't know what to do with Gavin Newsom. Thomas says, Newsom is attempting to change the narrative from the wildfires and his failures to protect residents and his possible candidacy in 2028. Yep. I agree. Before we get into this Biden story, I don't know if you guys saw this. This was a parody clip. I don't know if they were attempting to, they were attempting to make fun of Donald Trump and Elon Musk when he brought all the Teslas to the White House. But this just came off like humorous to me.
Tesla. Going on now at the White House Tesla Auto Mall. It's the biggest sale of the year.
Very safe, it's very strong, heavy, it's all steel, stainless steel.
Come on down to Pennsylvania Avenue, just off Route 29, to get our best deal ever on a brand new Tesla.
I want to make a good deal here. They have one, which is $35,000, which is pretty low.
Get a Model 1 with a different panel and everything's computer.
This is a different panel than I've had. Everything's computer.
So don't waste your time going to those other Tesla dealerships with riots and flaming cyber trucks. You gotta come down to White House Tesla Auto Mall.
I love Tesla.
You gotta come down to White House Tesla Auto Mall.
This is really amazing.
Tesla.
I know that we're trying to make fun of Donald Trump, but that just came off great, actually. Oh, man. The Dems wanted to believe Biden was cognitively capable of being president, but they were wrong. No duh. That really unfolded during that presidential debate, didn't that? Tesla. Oh. Stephanie says, take it through McDonald's drive-thru. Yeah, that'd be hilarious. Angela said that was greatness. Where the prices are insane. $35,000. Oh, man. This, let me wait until this ad's done. Here we go.
One of the progressive leaders, during 2017, 18, 19, into COVID. 2024, that election really slammed the door shut on the progressive movement. How badly do you think you misread the American electorate?
No, I'm going to disagree with you on the progressive movement because I think what happened is the Democratic Party lost touch with some of the things that the progressive movement was saying that people cared about. The progressive movement was strong when we were talking about things like health care that people needed, making college more affordable, higher minimum wage. Unfortunately, in 2024, we didn't have that message bluntly. I think our message was unclear, and that's part of why we lost the election. Bill, I think we could have won that election.
No, you couldn't have.
If Joe Biden obviously had moved aside earlier, if Kamala Harris had said she was going to take us in a different direction, but not just continue what Joe Biden was doing, I think we could have won that election. So my message to the Democratic Party is let's get back to our roots, talk about working people, not sound like the elite, not focus on our donors, focus on working people, and we can actually move forward again.
Did you think President Biden was up to the job mentally?
I'm going to be confessional here, Dana. I'm like so many other Democrats wanted to believe, and we were wrong, and we should have been more critical.
Do you think you were lied to?
I don't think I was lied to. I think it was magical thinking. We wanted to believe what we wanted to believe. I think, sure, not everyone will agree. I think he did some very good things as president, but it was clear that he was not the same person towards the end of the term.
And yet they were asking all of you to campaign for him, to donate money, and that they said he was perfect for the next 4 years. How much did that set the Democratic Party back?
I think it hurt a lot. I think a lot of people felt betrayed. But I am also saying all of us need to accept some responsibility because he did, in my view, he governed well on many levels, but he was not ready to continue for 4 more years. We should have just come to grips with that. I think if we had had an open process, if it was not, here's an anointed candidate, we actually had a process, we would have had a stronger candidacy.
Would you have run?
No, not me, but we would have had a stronger candidacy. And I think that was, look at the numbers. It was a winnable election. And instead of us as Democrats wringing our hands and crying, let's just get back on the horse and ride again because we have something to say.
They basically just shoot in Kamala Harris. They knew Biden. Catherine says, I knew he wasn't capable before he was VP. And that's the truth. This guy was just there, funneling money to NGOs, funneling money into nonprofits that Biden family owned. Ridiculous. We wanted to believe that he was capable. We wanted to believe it. That's like saying, oh, I want a dolphin to climb a tree. No, I want to play in the NBA. I can't, okay? I'm not 6 foot. I can't play in the NBA, okay? I can't even really do a layup, okay? Come on. Oh, man. Yeah, and they just shoot in Kamala Harris, and they said, oh, this is the new person. This is the new person. She can't hold a conversation. She wouldn't be able to do this. I'd love to see her do a podcast. I think Riskin' My Biscuit said something about JD and Newsom in a debate. I think JD would absolutely destroy Gavin Newsom. Thomas says, yeah, if penguins could fly, exactly. If they only implemented the 25th Amendment. They didn't, though. They didn't. Inflation Inflation eases as tariff tensions rise. Good news today as inflation eased 2.8% year over year, down 3% in January, while the market opened positively, which it did because I was watching the market earlier this morning.
Some good news today. Inflation eased. February CPI, or the inflation number, came in cooler than expected at 2.8% year over year, down from 3% in January. The market opened better today, but then Canada fired back at Trump's steel and aluminum tariffs and put 25% retaliatory tariffs on about $30 billion worth of U.S. goods. That rattled things a bit so far in Trump's first 51 days. The big fear was that tariffs would drive inflation higher. Still early, but so far so good. Let's welcome David Trzaski, CEO of Sound Planning Group. David, good to see you. Glad to have you back. Let's start with inflation. It eased compared to last month and compared to a year ago. Why? What's your read on this?
Well, this is really, President Trump's first full, read that we're getting in office, which actually breaks a 4-month trend of it rising, and now it's coming down. So, I think that we get a little bit of a mixed report here. I think a lot of the reason why we're seeing the prices down so much is because energy costs are down. And so that is one thing that President Trump has delivered on, is we're actually seeing very, very low energy prices. And I think that they're heading still in the right direction beyond that. If we're looking at the price of like eggs, up 59% in the last 12 months, I don't think a lot of people feel great about that. I personally just got my property taxes, 25% increase, along with 25% increases for the insurance for my house too. So my personal CPI is pretty high relative to different things. So I think that, seeing numbers in the threes gives people a little bit more confidence that maybe we're heading in the right direction.
Yeah. Sorry about the increased prices for you. I mean, it hurts. It hurts everyone. All right. Even with inflation easing today, tariffs could still lead to temporary price hikes, at least. So if that happens, can policies like tax cuts, deregulation, energy dominance offset those costs while the president's long-term plan for prosperity and national security plays out?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, so I'm calling it tarifflation fears. When we look at the cost of goods and supply chains, we've not really seen any of these unfold. And I haven't personally seen them as an American citizen where I've been like restricted from something or not been able to really get anything. So who knows what the next 12 to 24 months, ultimately do. But yeah, these are short-term impacts that have longer-term benefits. And so, I think that President Trump is even open to the idea of the market having its hiccup right now and even a crash right now earlier in his time frame, if it's something that has to be done and it would cool off inflation even a little bit more, maybe even bringing down prices for average Americans who would want to buy back in. But this is a very, very interesting time frame because there's not exactly one answer, and the Fed cannot control the price of my auto insurance and the price of eggs here at home.
Crash, David? You said crash? Really?
Let me explain. So, there's a lot of shorts going into the market right now, and really sentiment has adjusted. Like last year and the year prior, we were looking at any type of report that would come out, and it would be positive, negative.
Angela says grocery prices have been out of control under the Biden, including eggs. Yeah, they killed off a bunch of chickens. We don't really hear too much about the leftist legacy media talking about egg prices much anymore because they did drop a little bit. LJ says, Nevada is somewhat subjected to California's high gas prices. We need border between states.
Neutral, and it would be buy stocks, the market's going up. Right now, sentiment is that, hey, we're getting a little bit fearful because the news headlines do a really great job of telling everyone it's going to be more expensive, although the numbers today say it's really not that expensive or more expensive, at least according to headline. But the point is that when we find ourselves in a moment where we have $9.2 trillion in treasuries that are coming due, and Treasury costs the United States more than defense spending, I think Trump is looking at this and saying, hey, that's due this
I think
year.
so too.
If what we do is the market crash, everyone runs to bonds, specifically long dated bonds, what happens is it drives the yield price down. That's a bull market for bonds for a moment, but you lock everyone in at a much lower rate as all that matures and it goes to those specific assets. What that would then do is give the Federal Reserve the ability to say, hey, rates are much lower out there on bonds, and so maybe we can drop, rates as well. And
holy crap, $5 a gallon, Shaz? Whoa.
maybe that gets consumers, a better mortgage rate, better loans, et cetera. And I think that that's a play that could be playing out right now.
All right, since we're talking about possible reset, what about the R word, recession?
Yeah, well, difficult to define what that even means. I think that we had a recession, according to my definition, back in March of 2022. Q1, Q2, negative, 2 quarters consecutively. Right now, the NBER has not called an official recession. I think that if we look back at the numbers and we actually identify, hey, is CPI really CPI? It doesn't really, have anything to do with what I spent my money on or you spent your money on. Any American did, but specifically a basket of expenses that they chose. The employment data.
So there, like I said on the video yesterday, there's going to be some, a little bit of navigation. We got to navigate it because we ripped the Band-Aid off. Catherine says it was $7 by me in Scottsdale, Arizona. $7 for gas. Risking my biscuit, $4.38 near me. The average price of regular gas in California is around $4.84. This is from LJ per gallon, significantly higher than the national average at $3.16. We gotta buckle up a little bit.
Address the massive deficit spending, if we address the massive deficit spending, the waste in the government, then we can actually address inflation. So provided the economy grows faster than the money supply, which means you stop the government overspending and the waste, and the output of real useful goods and services exceeds the increase in the money supply, you have no inflation. Yeah. And you also drop the interest payments that people pay. Because if the government
way too high.
Yes, the reason the interest payments are so high is because the national debt keeps increasing. So the government is competing to sell debt with the private citizens. This drives up the interest rate. So if you cut back on the deficit, you actually have an amazing situation for people because you get rid of inflation and you drop the interest rates. And that means people's mortgage payments go down, their credit card payments go down, their car payments go down, their student loans go down, everything, their life becomes more affordable and their standard of living improves.
How quickly?
And we're not printing money like we're at Chuck E. Cheese. We're not printing happy coupons like they did in the Biden administration. Thomas said something about the bird flu. It does. The bird flu stems from virus. You're right. Mostly ducks, I think geese, turkey. Thomas said, including turkey and ducks, it's not just exclusive to chickens. Shaz is in North Cal in San Francisco. No wonder why your gas prices are so high. Stacey R. said Rhode Island's cheapest here at $2.73. Angela, I named my dog Elon. He's a smart boy. That's super cute. That's awesome. Yeah, exactly. Monopoly money. That's all they did. They just printed out monopoly money during the Biden administration. They said everybody gets a check. We just print more money. We're in a deficit, but you know what? We'll just print more money. We'll just make sure that everything's good, and we'll just print more money. We'll go more in debt. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Oh man. A proposed bill would require law enforcement in blue states to cooperate with ICE. Wow. Finally, right? Ice baby coming back. Minnesota. We all know our friend from Minnesota, right? Tampon Tim. Tampon Tim. Minnesota lawmakers recently introduced a bill that would prevent state and local government agencies from not allowing employees to share immigration data requested by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. The bill requires county attorneys to report any illegal arrests for a violent crime. President Donald Trump, who campaigned on the immigration crackdown, loosened restrictions on ICE, allowing broader enforcement. They are cracking.
Anybody needs a litmus test on how to make major change in your first 52 days, this must be it. Like, if you want to be president,
Absolutely.
This is what you have to do. You have to keep your promise on the issues particularly that protect American sovereignty and lives. Gianna.
100%. And I think back to a poll from Gallup in July last year where 55% of the respondents wanted immigration levels reduced. We know the official number for those who've crossed over into our country illegally is around 8 million, but some experts put it at potentially 11 to 17 million. And when we look at the facts of the newborns that have been created out of those who've come over, it brings a bit of gravitas to the notion that people said maybe this wasn't just a dereliction of duty from Biden and the Democrats. Maybe this was intentional. That's a consideration that I think many Americans have at this particular point, especially knowing that budgets in cities like Chicago, New York, and all over the country have been stretched thin, trying to accommodate those who've come into our country illegally. This is something that the American people wanted stopped, and Donald Trump is doing exactly that.
Wow. Look, I also want to concentrate on this Darien Gap. I mean, it's something that you'll hear. It's National Geographic reporting, and we know about it. It's a 60-mile stretch of dense, roadless jungle on the border. And as people go through, women and children, what have been left behind, according to the reporting, are things like shoes and evidence.
Oscar Dale Blue does some good reporting right there on the Darien Gap. If you guys aren't following Oscar Blue, give him a follow. Catherine says, after Doe started, DC started Googling off shares accounts and lawyers at an all-time high rate. Same thing with real estate in DC. A lot of homes all of a sudden coincidentally went up for sale. Stacey says, the goose is loose. Laugh my butt off. The rats think the sky is falling. Maybe they can get chickens to stop getting the flu. Michael says, they run us through the ringer for 4 years, for 4 years worth, and their policies sucked badly. And we have to rewind all of the crappy policies. We got to rewind all the stuff, the open borders, everything has to be done. Angela said, Trump is at warp speed. The Dems can't keep up. I can hardly keep up. This guy's he is on warp speed. February 25th, there were 3,000 homes for sale in Washington, D.C., representing a 17% increase compared to January 2025. These detention camps, the detention camps for DHS are getting full, which is great. Address a growing strain in the county's detention centers, DHS said, is working with federal agents, including the Department of Defense and federal prisons. In a new statement by NBC News, Acting Director, U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, they want to focus on the agency's enforcement operation to removing criminals while detaining illegal immigrants.
Trump's administration pushes forward with immigration deportation orders,
Yeah.
the Department of Homeland Security official says detention centers are now at capacity. Detention centers across the nation can hold a total of 47,600 people. Since Trump's first day in office, DHS told reporters this week immigration officials have detained close to 33,000 individuals. Between January 20th and March 10th, officials say more than 14,000 convicted criminals were arrested, while close to 10,000 have pending criminal cases. About 8,700 others were arrested based on violations related to immigration. DHS says they are working with other federal agencies to help with capacity issues, leaning on the Department of Defense and federal prisons as options. In a statement to NBC News, acting ICE Director Todd Lyons says these ICE enforcement operations are not only removing criminals from the American communities, but they are also discouraging people from coming to our country illegally. Adding, we expect these ICE arrests and removal numbers will only go up as we unleash an agency that has had its hands tied behind its back for the past 4 years.
The CB One app officially became the CB Home app, ET Phone Home. You can actually jump on your phone and self-deport, which is fantastic. A lot of people are doing that. A lot of people aren't crossing the border anymore. Michael Upton says, Kamala is the airhead. Remember the word salad DEI individual. She broke the glass ceiling with her heels. Good old headboard Harris. Yeah, it's crazy that these are already full, which is fantastic. Border crossings are down, I believe, 90% from last year. There was only 8,000 crossings in February. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comment section down below. Bill Reynolds says, Trump wins again. I'm not tired of winning. I am not tired of winning. That's what Bill said. I wonder who the first arrest will be. Make it a good statement. LJ says, changing the CBP app to deportations is the funniest troll ever. Yeah. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine you're an illegal and you like happen to cross the border and you look on your phone, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go to San Francisco. And then you click it and it's like, no, you're going across the border again, hombre. 95%. Thank you for the correction. 95%. Border crossings are down 95%. That is phenomenal. Get this. Immigrations and customs enforcement arrests since Donald Trump took office are already outpacing arrests made all of 2024, the agency said on Wednesday, while saying the Biden administration had been cooking the books. They've been cooking the books. We uncovered that the previous administration was cooking the books on ICE data, just like they did with the job numbers, just like they did with the economy. They cooked all the books. Call them Guy Fieri. They were purposely misleading the American people by categorizing individuals processed and released into interior of the United States as ICE arrests.
Security Secretary Kristi Noem says that they have identified the leakers who exposed the locations of upcoming immigrations and custom enforcement raids. This is a big deal. And our Bill Malugin has got the details. Bill.
Get the leakers, man.
Yeah, John, good afternoon
Get
to you.
the
Just a
booty hole
short time
leakers.
ago, DHS officials confirmed to Fox News they say they have identified 2 people within DHS who they say they have caught leaking information about ICE operations to different targets and then put those operations in jeopardy. We got a video from DHS Secretary Kristi Noem herself making this announcement, was just sent over to us. Take a look.
Everyone, I wanted to give you a quick update. We have identified 2 leakers of information here at the Department of Homeland Security who have been telling individuals about our operations and putting law enforcement lives in jeopardy. We plan to prosecute these 2 individuals and hold them accountable for what they've done.
Get them.
And we're going to continue to do all that we can to keep America safe.
And a DHS spokesperson also sent us the following statement on record, which says, quote, "We are preparing to refer these perpetrators to the DOJ for felony prosecutions. These individuals face up to 10 years in federal prison. We will find and root out all leakers. They will face prison time, and we will get justice for the American people." Now, to that point, we do want to point out that this is just a referral. It is ultimately going to be up to the Department of Justice on whether or not they want to move forward with prosecutions of these alleged leakers.
How many of you guys think that they should be prosecuted? I think they should be prosecuted for leaking intel. So many embedded within America. Biden should be charged with treason. Yeah, it was an open border. This guy was just funneling everybody through. Treason, Gitmo. That's what LJ says. Send him to Gitmo. A whistleblower from ICE just revealed that 70% of the cartel weapons came from the United States. Wow. I wonder who was selling those. Hunter Biden ain't painting no more, right? All right, we're going to jump into this protest. I saw this protest earlier today. These supporters jumped into Trump Tower in New York City, and they were protesting galore.
We were bringing this to you live. People have stormed into Trump Tower protesting the arrest of Mahmoud Khalil, the Columbia University graduate student, former graduate student, who has riled up so much of the anti-Semitism that we've seen, not just on Columbia, but other campuses as well. There's a big dispute going on right now between the Trump administration and Democrats and these supporters of Khalil's who say he has been unfairly detained. But what we're hearing from the administration is Khalil has been at the nexus of this anti-Semitism and the violent protests we've seen on some of these college campuses. You can think about the one building they took over at Columbia months ago and detained. They actually held a janitor hostage. We see the arrest now here at Trump Tower. Can we listen to,
Check the Soros accounts too while you're at it. Yep, paid Soros stooges. You hit the nail on the head, Dr. D. 100% protesters are arrested at Trump Tower today. 100 protesters were arrested in Trump Tower today. All paid protesters. Look at them get arrested here. They should be arrested. They should be fined, too. In 2008, Obama and Clinton accused each other of terrorists. I think that's what you were trying to write. They got charged with trespassing. Yeah, they bombarded. I can't believe they bombarded this. Stephanie in the Discord group was saying that they're comparing it to J6. There we go with the J6 crap again. What is that? Don't they have better things to do? Fight Nazis, not students. What?
100 protesters arrested this morning after breaking into Trump Tower, chanting, "Free Mahmoud." Who's Mahmoud? He's a Syrian agitator who loves Hamas and hates Jews and who made so much mayhem at Columbia last year, he cost the school millions of dollars. Trump's trying to deport him. And Democrats are siding with the anti-Semitic foreigner who broke the law. Democrats want to deport Elon but keep Mahmoud. They're standing for Mahmoud, but not for a black kid with brain cancer who wants to be a cop. They used to stand for electric cars, but then Elon caught them censoring conservatives and stealing from the government, so they're attacking Teslas with pickaxes.
Armed with a pickaxe and sledgehammer in Seattle's Soto neighborhood, these two fellas went to town on this Tesla.
That is crazy to me. I haven't seen this. That is crazy.
The car was left in shambles with shattered windows, massive punctures, and tons of anti-Elon Musk graffiti.
We don't like what Elon Musk is doing.
This man would only give me his first name.
I would beat your behind. If that was my personal car and I come outside and you spray painted on my crap, you're getting your butt whooped.
Greg, sorry. But says he actually owns the white Model S.
I bought it just to destroy it.
Ah, loser.
A man sledgehammered his own Tesla to get back at Elon after he paid for it. If there's one thing liberals are good at, it's destruction. They can't build a reservoir, a high-speed rail, or a charging station, but they can tear down a statue, a border, and a Tesla. It's one thing for the kid in the back of the car to keep saying, "Daddy, are we there yet? Are we there yet?" But it's another for the kid to slash his own tires. Remember the Heinz commercial?
That's crazy. So you wasted a bunch of money just so you could destroy the car. That Tesla, that one looked like an older model because of the front, like a 2010, something like that. They don't have these fronts anymore. That's crazy. And you got better stuff to do, man.
These people might not have jobs there. And I'm starting to realize they might be getting paid to protest. And Will Cain showed Open Society, Soros is funding it. And that's fine. I love it. The more you guys make fools of yourselves, the better it is for moi. A couple years ago, Musk was saving the planet. He was going to other planets. And he was in love with the Democrats. They were both in love. And then they had this horrible breakup. But Musk says he didn't change, they changed. He was always about free enterprise and free speech. They went full wacko. They tried to transition one of his kids. And then he buys Twitter and realized that they were censoring everybody. And then he sees Trump get shot. It kind of gives him a political awakening, and he goes all in. And Trump gets elected. He comes in, he wants to make the government more efficient at great expense to himself and his company, and finds out the Democrats are stealing from the government. So he caught him censoring you, and then he caught him stealing from you, and he's humiliated them. This is not your average breakup. This is like you hit him where it hurts. And now the Democrats don't have the emotional intelligence to kind of reconcile this breakup, so they just oppose everything in a blind rage. It makes no sense. Donald Trump and Elon Musk have made them support shutdowns. They're against peace. They're against green cars. They're against women. It's weird, and we're watching it unfold. Now they're supporting an anti-Semite. This is a guy, he's not even American. He comes here, he hates Jews. He blows up Colombia, cost them $400 million, and they're out there like this guy's Gandhi.
That's gnarly to me. Jesse said, apparently they don't have jobs. Catherine says, moron. Once his tax dollars stolen. Yeah, what a loser. TDS, Angela writes. Terry said, I saw a 2015 Tesla sell for $10K. Still, to throw $10K down the drain so you can smash it. And then it's shameful. Catherine says, ban Soros. Ban Soros from America, just like many others. TDS and EDS. All social media platforms censor conservatives, including Facebook, Angela. Yeah. A lot of you in the chat are in Facebook jail. I'd like to see this free speech situation. And some of you are in YouTube jail too. I know they'd be censoring comments on this platform too. Stephanie says, so joyful. Yeah, I thought they were the party of joy. And they're over here destroying things and protesting. Ugh. I don't remember who said it in the chat, but somebody said, "Hey, Hannity and Waters bought a Tesla." I saw today that Tesla, because the new Model Y is coming out, and correct me if I'm wrong, the new Model Y is coming out, or Model 3. One of the two. The new model's coming out, so they dropped the older model, the 2024 models and below, and they're 30 grand. I think that's fairly reasonable for an electric car. LJ says, I love Jesse Waters. Fetterman says he admires his hair. I do too. I got a receding. I got a little receding and a little yarmulke patch back there. Oh man. Ricardo says, wow. Yeah, it's gnarly to me. Columbia University, which is very small compared to other Ivies, always got crazy federal funding and always had the most international students. This is what Airdrie says. This sign, like, I don't know, really, when they compare Trump and the team to Nazis, there was a sign on a couple videos ago with the Nazi sign. It bothers me because that's just a crappy comparison. Anyways, let me jump into the comments. Hannity wrote on X that the Tesla Model S Plaid boosts 1,600 horsepower and goes 0 to 62 in 2 seconds. That's crazy, man. What do you need to go 0 to 60 in 2 seconds? That's bananas. Oh, man. All right. Dr. D says, we truly live in the theater of bizarre. Eric Adams and John Fetterman are trying to come off as based as... That's funny. Stephanie says, I posted an interview on Discord. He was the definition of live to a T, or lib to a T. Excuse me. Sorry about that. All right, guys, that is a wrap for today. Oh, by the way, if you're catching this on the replay, type in replay in the comment section. Also, I'm going to place some timestamps down in the description down below for those that are catching this in the replay, so you can jump from story to story, back and forth. I'm going to, let me know. This time is a little late, but let me know in the comment section right now. I think I'll go at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. PST. Make that just a standard time. And then we'll do one in the afternoon. I noticed that you guys are available at like 1 o'clock PST, so that's like 3 p.m. Eastern time. Let me know in the comment section how that works. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, because I like the evening times because everybody's off and then we can engage and have some fun. Stacy says, I'm on the East Coast. Yeah. Cool. Dr. D says, sounds good. CST here. Subbed, and I'll be back. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, it's late. It's late on the East Coast right now. Oh, thank you so much, Ricardo, for that. I appreciate that. He says, Ricardo, my man, he says, you're the best. Thanks. I appreciate that. Okay, cool. 6 o'clock. Cool. So we'll rock at 6 o'clock moving forward. And then we'll do something in the afternoon too. Catch some afternoon folks. Cool. All right. If you're catching this on the replay again, type in replay in the comment section, guys. I want to say shout out to the moderators again. Without the moderators in the chat, you guys are freaking awesome. So shout out to the moderators in the chat. And then shout out to everybody catching this on the live chat. Because without you guys in the live chat, without you guys subbing, without you guys watching the videos, none of this would be possible. So I truly, truly appreciate and love each and every single one of you. Really, really appreciate it. Drop your comments down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would on your way out. And then shout out to Stephanie for the super chat. Really appreciate you. Drop your comments down below. Smash the like button on your way out. Share, subscribe. And as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.